Hello everyone, this is Garrett, and this is Crackdown for the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, depending on where you're from. At the beginning of the 24th century, an artificial life system was created. Oh yes. An evil leader guides them in their quest to conquer the world. The federal government has issued an order to its 2 special service agents, because the special service consists of 2 agents. Yes. Their mission is to destroy the enemy facilities by using a new type of time bomb. Crackdown. A beautiful story indeed. But yes, first of all, we're going to go to the options. Just gonna set the difficulty to hard, and I think I'll go with 1 continue in case something goes horribly wrong. And you can't set the amount of bullets you start for the guns. Well, sort of. The maximum here is 10 and 20, and that's really not a high amount. But I'm just gonna leave it as defaults. And yeah, you'll soon see why, really. But yes, this is a Crackdown, and let's get started. Little opening cutscene here, which shows us the new time bomb. Oh yes, though we'll only be seeing one of those 2 characters in action that you will be seeing in most of the cutscenes, strangely enough. But why would you make cutscenes that are different for 2 characters and stuff? But whatever. We are starting off, and the screen is probably a little bit confusing when you see it for the first time. The top left basically shows how much ammo you have for both weapons, and as I have 0 bullets for the 1 weapon, I will basically just be punching instead. But I'm just gonna use the other ones because that one has a plenty large amount of ammo, and that's not proper English, but there you go. And we have now we have 3 S-bombs, and that basically kills everyone on screen and does some other fun stuff as well. But the goal of the game is pretty much just walk over all of the red X's in the base of the enemy, which makes you place a time bomb on top of it. And once you've done that, you have to go to the exit, and then the remaining time you have will be put into bonus points, which will be used for getting extra lives, but also for getting extras, well, just for points, really. And if you place a bomb on one of the X's, you will basically be invulnerable for a small amount of time, and during this time, you can kill enemies just by walking into them, so that's kind of useful. I probably won't be using it all that much, but, you know, it's there. So, that would explain some things every once in a while, and if you try to lean against the wall, you will basically walk next to it, which allows you to dodge certain bullets and stuff like that. And yeah, and in the bottom right, you can see the enemies we'll be facing in this level. And pretty much every level has new enemies, which is a pretty awesome feature in this game, if you ask me. And watch out for this green guy, because he will roll around the corner and try to shoot you. If you get hit once, you die. And in the top left, you can also see we currently have 4 lives. And you get extra lives depending on how much points you have. And as I mentioned before, we have 2 weapons. The rocket launcher thingy, which is considerably more powerful than the little pistol thing. But the pistol thing is a little bit quicker, I believe. So we'll definitely be using that whenever I can. But the rocket launcher will pierce through everything pretty much. So yeah, it is definitely very useful, and during the end of the game, we'll pretty much be using it exclusively. But for now, I'm just gonna make sure I don't run out of ammo, although that's pretty much impossible in this game, to be honest. But yeah, Crackdown, and we are in stage 4 of Act 1 or whatever. And this is actually where we're going to use the first super bomb, because otherwise the enemies can be kind of annoying, and we'll be using it to kill the guy behind that door, because he can be really quite annoying indeed. Also, do note that while the enemies can't shoot diagonally, you can, and that is actually really quite useful. Because, yeah, it means you don't have to worry quite as much about being hit. But yes, quite a lot of cases it's not really possible to hit them diagonally, but when you can, I would definitely suggest doing so, because it makes life a little bit easier. Also, if you stand next to an enemy and try to shoot, you'll just kick them, but the kick is pretty much as strong as a rocket launcher, so definitely not a bad thing. Watch out for these enemies, because they explode, and then when you get hit by the explosion, you die. So yeah, be careful of those enemies, though. This is pretty much the only level where we're going to face those enemies, so you don't really need to worry about it. It is pretty important though to pick up pretty much every super bomb you can because of, well, 3 levels pretty much, and you'll soon enough see why, because the things you can do with them are kinda neat, and not dying is a lot of fun. And yeah. But yeah, we're now in stage 2, act 2. I don't even know how the stages are named, but we're in stage 5. Let's just call it level 5 because it is the 5th level and that's easy to remember. Try not to get hit by that ball, and I'm just gonna get rid of that guy because he was being annoying. And make your way to the bottom where the remaining bombs are. Or the remaining spots that need to be bombed. And for people who... There are actually different versions of this game. There's this version and the arcade version. I'm pretty sure there's some other versions as well. This is actually the Steam version of the game, if I hadn't mentioned it before. And yeah, one of the things I think the main difference between this version and the arcade version is that the music is a little bit better in the arcade version and the voices are a little better, although still not quite that amazing, to be honest. And I think the arcade version has less slowdown, and this game pretty much has constant slowdown, which makes it less noticeable that there is any slowdown. But it is quite noticeable that whenever you use a super bomb, everything suddenly speeds up because all the enemies on screen are dead and you don't really have to worry about them anymore. Which I thought was kind of strange, but there you go. Also, these enemies are kind of annoying. If you hit them quickly enough, then they won't attack you. Well, they will basically do nothing. But if you wait too long, they will start walking towards you. And when they walk, you can't hit them. Even though the shield is right in front of their face, you can't hit them even from the side. So that's kind of annoying. So just try to make sure to hit them basically just before they come on screen. And then you don't really need to worry about that all that much. And the mandrills are also quite an annoying enemy. I'm probably just gonna call them dogs from now on, but they're actually called mandrills. They can only walk diagonally, and they only have a melee attack, but they're actually quite hard to hit because they walk around so sporadically, so yeah, be careful of that. And this level can be a little confusing if you've not done it before, because to get to the end, you kind of have to do something a little bit differently compared to the other levels. This is actually where you can get a little stuck if you don't know what you have to do, because you're not really told what you have to do. Also, when you get close to these cracks, you can see that the hole will appear. But basically try not to make that happen. If the cracks disappear and it gets replaced by a hole, then enemies will start coming out of it, so that's kind of annoying. But this is pretty much the reason why this level can be a bit confusing, because you have to shoot that sign 8 times. At least 8 times with a rocket launcher. I'm not sure if you can even do it with the other gun. But yeah, if you don't know that, then it can be kind of annoying, because yeah, it's not really clear that you have to shoot it. But although it does make a little different sound when you shoot it, so there you go. Also, there generally is an exit to the level on the top and the bottom of the right side of the screen. And depending on which door you take, if you go through the lower door, then you will start off on the lower section of the level, the next level. And if you go to the top door, you start on the top section of the level. So that's also why every once in a while you'll see me go through to the bottom of the level rather than go through the exit on the top one. Though this will only pretty much happen in 1 or 2 levels. Anyway, we are facing some new enemies here, which are these purple things. They also have a melee attack, but these are slightly different because they can actually attack through the wall. So be very careful while walking past walls while those guys are standing next to them, which is also why I'm going to be leaning against this part. And this is pretty much where you want to have a power bomb ready as well. Or at least 2, actually. One to use here, because if you get hit by those little light bulbs, which you might not be able to see because they're blinking quite a lot, you die. And this part especially is kind of annoying. So just use a power bomb when you're kind of in the middle, and then these things will disappear for some unknown reason. And that's pretty much the easiest way to get past that. You can't do it without a power bomb, or a super bomb, I mean. But it's tricky, and I'm not going to try to bother with it. Anyway, little cutscene that shows the boss, the evil mastermind that's been taking care of these blah 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 blah. And we make our way to stage 3, or level 9, I suppose, but there you go. Which contains a completely new feature that we have not seen before, which is Conveyor belts. Completely new to every game ever. Yes. Make your way here, and that little sound you hear is just me getting an extra life. I'm already at 7 lives, and it's actually going quite a lot better than my practice attempts, which I'm quite glad with. Though I'm still not completely reassured that this will be a one continue thing, but there you go. I'm just gonna make the best of it and try not to get hit by that guy, because he can be kind of a mean face, and that would be kind of mean. But pretty much from this point on, I'm gonna be using the rocket launcher, because at this point we really do have enough ammo to get through the rest of the game. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about it, but when you start off, it does seem a little weird that you only can start off with like 30 bullets for the normal gun and 10 for the rocket launcher. I mean, the 4 super bombs I can understand because the thing is quite powerful. Also, this is one of those levels where I'm pretty much going to be spamming super bombs because of those little robot things that shoot the lasers. And this is also the only level where those enemies appear, and they're really quite annoying to hit. And they're really quite good at hitting me, so that's why I'm not going to take any chances. Just going to use super bombs to kill all of them, so I don't really need to worry about them. Also, be careful not to fall off of these conveyor belts, because that will kill you immediately. Nope. Ugh. And this level is pretty much the main reason why I don't use super bombs almost anywhere else, except in this level, and the level with those sparkly blah blah blah. And in the last level, I'm pretty much going to be spamming them as well. But anywhere else, it is pretty much just recommended to use either a rocket launcher or just your normal gun, because it takes care of everything, really. Also, an interesting thing to note, if you use a super bomb, then the bullets of enemies will disappear as well. So, oh, I accidentally died. When you die, most of the time you'll just respawn in place. Sometimes, if you die in specific spots, like by falling off this escalator or a conveyor belt, I mean, you will respawn slightly further up behind or something like that. But overall, you'll just respawn where you started off. If you get a game over, then you will have a chance to put in your initials for the high score list. And then you'll also just respawn where you would normally respawn anyway. So, yeah, there isn't really a significant difference between getting a game over and not getting a game over, but eh. There you go. Alright, just gonna be a little careful here. This is also a level where I'm kind of scared. Actually, is it this level? No, it's not this level. It's probably the next level, actually. But there's gonna be a level where I'm gonna be using another power bomb to make certain ammo disappear, which you'll be seeing soon, because I'm expecting to die several times there, simply because of the weird hit detection in that place, and I don't like it. Also, this is kind of an interesting level because I recommend to just keep this enemy alive, because for some reason when the enemy shoots them, it doesn't matter whether or not they have their shields up, they will just die immediately. And that makes everything slightly easier, if you ask me. So, just gonna wait for these guys to come over, and then kill them with the invincibility. Please don't kill me. And make my way to the exit. Doesn't really matter which exit you take, the top or bottom one, you'll pretty much start at a symmetrical starting position, so it only really makes a difference in certain levels, and I think we've already passed the levels where it really makes any difference, so yeah, I don't really have to worry about that anymore. Anyway, move over the moving platform. Try not to get hit by the fire, like I did just now. The flamethrower guys are pretty much one of the most dangerous enemies in the game, if you ask me, because, yeah, the normal bullets are pretty easy to avoid, but the flamethrower flames, I guess, are quite large, and as such, quite difficult to dodge as well, so definitely be careful of that. Also, try not to get hit by those guys. So enemies will teleport in here, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, and when they're slightly off screen, you can't hit them, which is also fantastic. Try to take care of these guys first, because they can get in the way later. And at this point, if you want to do this without super bombs, use this top route, but I'm not going to do that because I keep dying when I do that. So instead, I'm just going to go through here and use a power bomb or super bomb right here. And that makes those lightning things disappear for about 1 second. After that, they will reappear again. But that 1 second is enough to get past the lightning-y bits. And that's basically the easiest way to get past that way. Because those lightning things have a really annoying hit detection, and when you get kind of close to it, you die. So, yeah, be careful with that. Also, a new enemy here, the Amasudio, or whatever. Well, two new enemies actually, but one is not listed to the right. The Amasudio is basically just a small dog, and is considerably more dangerous because it's faster. And the floor, and the wall there, I suppose. The floor there is an enemy as well because it shoots rockets at you. So be careful of that because that is really annoying. And yeah, mean face, very very mean. But if you you can only get hit when you stand to the left of them, and yeah, try just not to get too close to them. The super bomb will make the rocket disappear, but yeah, it's kind of finicky. So this is one of those levels where I'm either gonna use super bombs or just die a couple times, and clearly this time I'm going with the dying a couple times route. I would like to get past this without dying, thank you. Also, when you reach the 1 minute, this alarm will start going off, which will basically just indicate that you only have 1 more minute. And when the time reaches 0, then you'll just start the level over, I believe, with just 1 less life. Though, if you have planted all the bombs and time runs out then you will basically start off in the next level because you've already planted all the bombs. But I prefer not to do that. Instead, I'm just going to finish the level and go to the next level. And I'm pretty much past all the hard levels at this point, which I'm quite glad with. These enemies are kind of annoying. Try just not to touch them. They do cross walls and doors and stuff though, which I believe are the only enemies that actually do that. So do be careful, and don't be afraid to use a few power or super bombs or whatever, because yeah, kind of annoying enemies, and there's kind of a lot of them as well. And also something to be careful about is that after a while, they turn into other enemies, usually ones with guns, like those that just appeared just now. And yeah, be careful of that, because they can surprise you and shoot you in the face, and that's kind of bad. Run. But as usual, just make your way to all of the X's on the map. Very useful as well that you get that you have the temporarily invincibility that kills everything. Oh crap, that was close. That almost killed me actually. But yeah, the temporary invincibility is very useful here, since those guys pretty much their main attack is touching you. So if you have that invincibility on while they're touching you, that's very useful indeed. But overall, just try not to touch them and everything will be a-okay. Just gonna get that super bomb and hope I don't run out of time. I think that alarm sound is actually something they added from when compared to the arcade version as well, which is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, we really couldn't go through the game without hearing I mean, that's just such a fantastic addition, but there you go. That's just my opinion about the entire thing. Okay, and that brings us to Stage 4, Act 3, and this is, I believe this is actually the second to last level already, because this is not the longest game. I just wanted to get something done before I go on my holiday, which lasts 1 week, so if videos are a bit slow, then that would be the reason why. It's because I'm not actually here. And this is actually an interesting level. It's not very hard, but you have to be prepared that stuff is going to teleport in front of you several times during this court. And I guess the main difficult part about this level is that enemies will spawn, and the last part can be kind of annoying. And you'll soon see why, because yeah. Also be careful of this. There's 3 of those wall cutters there that will try to attack you through the wall, and I basically just use a power bomb there to make sure they don't kill me. And if you try to get that power bomb to the left over there, then basically a wall cutter will spawn and kill you. That's what happens to me 9 out of 10 times, so that's why I'm not really going to bother with it. But if you are short on super bombs, I would really recommend you get some, because not going in the next level without 4 bombs is kind of scary. And even though it says I only have... Oh, it actually says I have 3 bombs. Wow, I'm really low actually. Anyway, wait until all lasers are pointy, then go to the right. And if you get hit by those lasers, you die, and that's kind of bad. But yeah, this brings us to the final level, and I would really recommend saving, or at least having 4 super bombs for the final boss. because he is annoying. And at first you basically just shoot these walls because otherwise you can't go through them. If you touch these things, you're dead. Even if they're not close to each other or anything, you'll just die immediately, so that's kind of annoying. I'm just gonna use one super bomb here actually, because I'm pretty high on. I've got a fair amount of lives. Be careful at this part because those lasers are annoying, and they scare me quite a bit. And this part can be annoying if the camera doesn't move far enough to the right. Sometimes it moves far enough to the right so you can see the wall and then you can hit it. Because, yeah, if you get caught... Oh, and that would be the boss. Basically, this is the final boss, these ball things here, and oh my god, they're annoying. And that is why I would prefer to have 4 power bombs instead of 3, but there you go. Because then I could just do this. But if you just kill the first 3 with... I am really terrible at this boss, I really am. But, yeah, try to kill them all. I really wish I didn't miss that first power bomb. Now just... Oh, thank god. Okay, and then once you've done that, you have to hit this guy with your gun, and then walk to the exit, which finishes the game and gives you some extra bonus point depending on how much ammo you have left, and how much life you have left as well. But yeah, that was basically Crackdown. Not really the longest game, but I just wanted something to do, something quickly to record. Just gonna add my initials here, sort of, my internet initials, if you will. And for some reason this thing is really slow in this level. On the other levels it's a lot quicker, but here it's kind of slow. And once we've ended our initials, we will slowly walk to the right of the screen, while the staff is shown. As this is a pretty old game, there's not really all that much staff. There's like 5 guys that worked on this game, really. But there you go. But yeah, that was Crackdown for the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive. I played the Steam version, and I think it's quite fun. I would definitely recommend playing through it at some point. I mean, it's something that you can easily play. It is kind of difficult compared to some other games, but to be frank, most Genesis games are compared to most other games. But there you go. And I quite enjoy it. It's not... Once you've played a couple times, it's really not that difficult anymore, but in your first playthrough, it'll be quite hard. And as the Special Force operative person that we are, our mission was to destroy this artificial life form, which we will do in this cutscene. I can't actually control the character at this point, which is a shame. I would like to. I like the pentagram, it really adds touch to the devilish thing. And his face turns into a skull due to the explosion and shows us the nice "the end" screen. So yeah, that was Crackdown. I hope you enjoyed it, and I believe if we just wait a little bit, then eventually this terribly out of tune music will stop playing. Please. There we go. And send us back to the main menu screen. So yeah, once again, this was Crackdown. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in about a week when I will be back. So have a good next week, and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.